Hello and welcome back to the Couch Potato Podcast. My name is Russ. Unfortunately, Lucas isn't joining us tonight. He had a family get-together, so he was not able to record with me this weekend, but I have a very special treat for you guys. Producer Adam is back with me this week, and I figured I'd be a nice guy and let him choose the movie that we did. So he chose Rush Hour, the 1998 Jackie Chan, Chris Tucker action buddy cop movie. So, after the trailer, we give to you Rush Hour.
They come from different cultures.
Bitch boys.
Don't you ever touch a black man's radio, boy.
They play by different rules.
FBI, I need this motorcycle. Get up.
But on a case this big,
We're gonna get your daughter back safe and sound.
they speak the same language.
We can hang in my crib. I will show you my hood.
What the hell did you just say?
Jackie Chan, Chris Tucker, Rush Hour.
Which one of y'all kicking?
Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, September 18th.
Hello and welcome back to the Couch Potato Podcast. I am Russ. Lucas is not joining me this evening. He's at some kind of family thing. He's too good to do an episode with us once again. But I have pulled in a very special treat for you guys and gals. Producer Adam, who's been on a bit of a hiatus. He's been producing the show, but he hasn't been on as a guest in a little while, so he's back today. Adam, how are you, man?
I'm great. I don't know if I'm a special treat. If I were a special treat, I'd probably be those Necco wafers that taste like chalk. But
no, I don't think that at all. Don't think that at all, man. I was just looking at some of our stats. The Toy Story one, the last one that you and I just did as a solo act, has been very, very popular in recent weeks.
that's good. And I mean, we kind of are going with that sort of theme again today too, since it's a buddy movie a little bit. So
Right. And I figured since I was going to have you on, I would let you choose the movie. So you want to tell the guys and gals what you chose?
I chose Rush Hour.
Well, technically you chose Rush Hour 2.
Rush Hour 2.
And I called a mulligan, like, well, let's do the first one because the
Right.
first one actually had a little bit more behind-the-scenes stuff. There wasn't really much for part 2 at all.
Right. I mean, by then it was kind of established, and they were just like, "Yes, this is fun. Let's do this again." So
Yeah. I mean, I'm in the camp with you. Actually, Rush Hour 2 is my favorite of the three.
Yeah, definitely. It's so good. I don't know what it is about it. It's probably just the way it's written. The pacing of the movies, I think, is the best part about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's not to say that this one's a piece of shit. This is actually a very fun movie. First time I've seen it in, probably 10 years, I think. I hadn't watched it in a while. I never seemed to catch it on TV.
Yeah, we ended up watching all the Rush Hours like in a row last year sometime, just because we had all been quarantined, and I think we just watched movies ad nauseum. So we ended up watching Rush Hour. That was the last time I saw it. It was about a year ago. So
Really?
It's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't seen them in quite a while. And actually, I think when I seen these, I'd actually seen 2 before I seen 1.
Yeah, I was the same way. I actually went to go see 2 with my buddy in school. We ended up going to the theater just to watch it, just because we saw the previews and thought it looked really good.
Mm-hmm. I at this time I was working at a video store, and part of the perks of working at a video store is they usually give you a couple free movie rentals a night.
Yeah.
And I think Rush Hour had been out on home video for like 6 months. No, it'd been longer than that. I think, because I seen the second one first, so I think I seen the second one on DVD, and then I think I eventually went back and revisited the first one.
Yeah.
I think it was one of those movies that like I wanted to watch, but just never I'm not in like a big rush, no pun intended, to see it. And I wasn't really familiar with Jackie Chan either. This was, he really wasn't like somebody that I was like. I'm not a huge martial arts fan.
Yeah.
And I wasn't like grabbed. Oh shit, Jackie Chan's first U.S. movie. I wasn't like super hyped up for it. I remember Rumble in the Bronx had been like a modest hit here in the States, I think like a year or two before.
Yeah.
But like Rush Hour was essentially my introduction to Jackie Chan.
Yeah, I would say the same for me too. I mean, I don't think I've seen him in anything before this, and I mean, the only reason I saw Shanghai Noon after this was because I had seen Rush Hour and Rush Hour 2.
That's how I was. I seen Shanghai Noon. Shanghai Nights is the second one. I don't know why I always think that that's the first one. But yeah, I watched Shanghai Noon simply because I enjoyed Jackie Chan and Rush Hour. So then, of course, being at a video store, I went and pretty much got my hands on any Jackie Chan stuff I could get a hold of. I still love The Legend of the Drunken Master. That movie's fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So yeah, like this was my first introduction to him. So thanks, New Line and Brett Ratner and Chris Tucker for introducing Jackie Chan to the masses. So, we were talking about, you said briefly that this is another buddy cop movie, and it just got me thinking last night too, because we've done a lot of these mismatched pairs here lately. Like we've done Buzz and Woody. We did on the critically panned Midnight Run episode, we did De Niro and Grodin.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've done a lot of these here lately. So I was just thinking, like, recent memory, where would you put Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker on like a top of list? Because they got 3 of these movies made because of their chemistry, and there's been rumblings of a 4th one for a while.
Right.
So obviously they're doing something right if they've gotten 3 and then people continue to go see them.
Right.
And then they want to make a 4th one. So, where would you rank these 2 fellas?
I think they would be pretty close to the top, either number 1 or number 2. The only other contender I would think of would be Lethal Weapon with Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. I don't think that any of the other buddy movies come close to either one of those. I mean, there are really good buddy movies out there, and they do fill out the top 10, but just Lethal Weapon, the amount of movies that they have and the chemistry that they have together, it's the same kind of energy that Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan have in these movies.
Yeah, they do. They it seems like they've kind of modeled that the Rush Hour movies after that a little bit. Just Jackie Chan's kind of in the Danny Glover, the more subdued, and then Chris Tucker's not quite a maniac like Mel Gibson was, but like it's kind of that same energy.
Yeah.
For me, I know, like, I speak very fondly of De Niro and Grodin in Midnight Run. Gibson and Glover, I think, those 2 would have to be at the top, simply because, like, those movies are no good without the 2 of them being as good as they are together. I would say Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte in 48 Hours, but that second one kind of ruins the first one a little bit for me. That second one's awful. The first one's all the flaws. That movie's got a lot of them, especially Nick Nolte's very racist Jack Cates. Oh, hell, Reggie. There's my Nick Nolte impression for the night.
Perfect.
End of the episode. See you, everybody. But yeah, I think Tucker and Chan got to be in the top 5 at least.
Yeah.
They've gotten a lot of mileage out of this. And actually, outside of Silver Linings Playbook, these are the only movies Chris Tucker's done since Friday.
Yeah?
Friday and he was in the Fifth Element after Friday.
Yeah, he was in that, yeah.
But yeah, outside of the Rush Hour movies, I don't think he's been in anything. I remember him in Silver Linings Playbook, that's it.
Which is too bad, because he's got a lot of money owed to the IRS.
Yeah. I love Chris Tucker. I've actually been tossing around doing Friday for quite a long time.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Yeah, that's he is pretty much set in stone as the winner of the McLovin.
Oh, for sure.
But then again, he's in the movie more than actually he's in it just as much as Ice Cube. So I don't know if you could even give him that. So, all right. Well, hey, you ready to knock this out? Get into some categories.
Yes, I am.
All right. The Tale of the Tape, Rush Hour, was released on September the 18th, 1998. Stars Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. I know I usually throw in a couple extra ones, but let's be real here. Outside of maybe Tom Wilkinson, you're not really recognizing anybody in this movie outside of those two. Directed by Brett Ratner, which his claim to fame, like the only stuff that he's done that's been good have been the Rush Hour movies.
Yep.
I remember I had a friend at opening weekend of X-Men 3. My friend, huge X-Men fan, all he talked about the week leading up to it was he couldn't wait for the X-Men 3 to come out. And I didn't go see it right away. So get back to work Monday, so I say, hey, Bob, how was X-Men 3? And the look of, like, he was disgusted and heartbroken at the same time.
Well, yeah, he's not wrong.
Yeah, he said that he goes, it was a pile of shit. He goes, he basically said that he ruined the X-Men for him.
Oh my god!
And he's never seen an X-Men movie after that.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, he refused to watch them after that.
There are good movies after that, but I don't blame him for not watching them after that. That's a pretty disappointing movie.
Yeah, but yeah, Brett Ratner, a lot of mileage out of the Rush Hour movies. It seems to be the only thing he's good at doing. So, at least kudos to you for that. Rotten Tomatoes score of 60% from critics and 78% from audiences. This movie was a big hit. Usually September, there's not really like, it's where they it's in between the end of the summer movie season and like you're getting into like the Oscar contenders and getting ready for like the winter hits to come out. But this was a big hit in September. Did $244 million on a $35 million budget.
Which is really, really cool because you don't see comedies do that well.
Right.
And I know like an action comedy, but like it's still a comedy and you don't see them do that well that often.
Right. This did not win any awards, but I mean, once you heard Brett Ratner's name, you probably already knew that. And this movie is streaming on HBO Max. You can actually watch all 3 of them.
Oh, wow. Okay. One of the rare moments that you can watch a movie that we're talking about on a streaming service.
Yeah, a funny story about that, too, is I tried to watch Rush Hour on Saturday night, and I've been kind of like lacking in the sleep department the last few days. So I was like, I'll sit on my couch and watch Rush Hour 1. I woke up, and it was like 10 minutes to go into Rush Hour 3.
4 hours later.
Yeah, it's like I marathoned the fuck out of it, I guess. My eyelids seen all 3 of them now. But the William Somerset Research Corner, a lot of good stuff. Good stuff. Brett Ratner claims that this is the first English-speaking film role for Jackie Chan. Previously, Chan's films released in the U.S. had his voice dubbed because of his uncertainty of speaking the English language. So I guess Brett Ratner convinced Chan to give it a shot and just go without having his voice dubbed. He said it would lend some authenticity to the character, which now whenever I watch an old Jackie Chan movie, it's like the dubbing just doesn't seem the same.
Yeah.
He's been in enough U.S. films now to where, like, can't you just throw him a couple bucks to come and just redub him himself?
Yeah. And too, like after these movies came out, I don't know if you've seen it before, but they did a Jackie Chan Adventures animated TV show on the WB.
I do remember that cartoon.
And he did some voiceover work on that. He did pretty well.
Didn't he do, like, I don't know. I may have caught like 1 or 2 minutes of it. But didn't he do like an introduction in front of each episode?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, like Jackie Chan was like the biggest thing in the world for a minute after these movies come out. He was fucking everywhere. I remember when Tarantino, when the MTV Movie Awards used to be like kind of a big deal, they gave Jackie Chan some kind of honorary MTV Movie Award.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of started the ball rolling for making him a star in the U.S. too.
I'm pretty sure recently too, Jackie Chan also has received a Lifetime Achievement Award or something similar to that. I know that he received some kind of award from the film industry for his contributions to stunts.
Mm-hmm.
Stunts.
And that was the thing revisiting this movie too. Like, it just made me remember like how awesome like his fight scenes are. It's like very ballet-esque, and they're super fun to watch. Like just a scene where they're inside the restaurant. We'll get into that here in a minute, but yeah, they were just a lot of fun revisiting like all of his stunt work and like watching him choreograph the fights and stuff. They were really cool. Those of you that are familiar with Jackie Chan, you do know that Jackie Chan does a lot of his own stunts and he gets hurt an awful lot. I guess apparently he was almost killed during the filming of this movie. The scene where the metal boxes come crashing down. He was a quarter of a second away from death.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they would have crushed his head if he was just a quarter of a second slower.
That's scary.
Yeah, I didn't realize, like, I forgot about this too, but like at the end of this movie where they show like the bloopers and stuff of Chan and Tucker and everybody flubbing their lines, they do the same thing for a lot of Jackie Chan's like foreign films, and it's usually him getting hurt doing a stunt. So
yeah, that was one of my favorite bloopers. Is actually in the second movie when he's going through one of the casino cages and he gets stuck, and they ask him if he's okay. He's like, Jackie's always okay.
I thought this was a really cool fun fact. This movie was the inspiration for the film review website Rotten Tomatoes, which we use a time or two on this show. I'm going to fuck this dude's name up, so I apologize in advance, but we also know that those of you that listen to us on a regular basis know it's not a Couch Potato episode without me fucking up somebody's name. So, Sin Dong, I hope that's the right pronunciation. If not, I apologize. Don't send me any hateful emails or sign me up for like boner medication or hot Latino singles, which seems to be what hits our inbox all the time at the show. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of erectile dysfunction medication offers at the old couch potato at gmail.com inbox. So please send. I'm a big fan of your website. Please don't do that. He was a big fan of the Jackie Chan's movies, and he decided to create a website to collect all the reviews for his movies that had been released in the U.S. So 2 weeks later, he built Rotten Tomatoes, and it launched right before Rush Hour came out.
And I believe that was a success.
A little bit, yeah. Everybody, well, most people love it. A lot of people hate it. But also a lot of people use it to shit on Star Wars and Captain Marvel.
Shots fired.
Martin Lawrence was considered for the role of Carter after Eddie Murphy declined to make Rush Hour in favor of Holy Man, which... Come on, Eddie. That was also a very tumultuous time in Eddie Murphy's career. It seemed like he was just making one turd after another. Was this like the Pluto Nash Showtime era of Eddie? Sorry, I lost my voice there for a second. But yeah, this was like the shitty run of Eddie Murphy's career, and he sprinkled in Dr. Dolittle. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I like Eddie Murphy a whole lot, but I don't think this movie works with Eddie Murphy. I really don't.
No, I don't think so either. I also found that Dave Chappelle, Tupac Shakur, and Will Smith were also considered at one point for the role of Carter.
Okay.
And none of those are doing it for me. I mean, I'm a fan of Dave Chappelle. Tupac was awesome. Even Martin Lawrence, but yeah, Chris Tucker makes this movie because he's the perfect contrast to Jackie Chan.
Yeah, he's very outgoing and funny and talks a lot, I guess is a good way to put it. And Jackie Chan's very reserved and quiet, and yeah, it's good. Mm-hmm. It's a good.
The last one that I have is the line, "Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?" was inspired by the first meeting of Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker at the William Morris Agency. I guess after the meeting was over, Jackie Chan whispers over to his manager, and he says he didn't understand the words that were coming out of Chris Tucker's mouth because he was talking so fast. So they used it in the movie.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's all I got. What do you got?
Let's see here. Bear with me one moment while I pull up my notes here.
Well, you guys can't see this, but Adam is recording this in his car. It looks like he is he's like doing war coverage for like a major news network. And he's in like some kind of bomb shelter, like waiting for like shit to go down.
I could be.
Stay safe, Adam.
I got at Grauman's Chinese Theater, Carter shows Inspector Lee, The Footprints of John Wayne. And it's really interesting just because he went on to spoof John Wayne's character in Shanghai Noon, Shanghai Nights, and Shanghai Dawn. And let's see here, I got so when in that beginning scene when we're introduced to Carter going undercover, and then all that C4 is in the car, and then he shoots the car, it blows up. That's actually a really cool scene, just because, you get to see the car flip over and there's a giant fireball and everything. But in all reality, a gunshot would not make C4 explode. And if you were to shoot the amount of C4 that were in that car, pretty much everybody in the blast radius of that would be dead, and the entire street would be just destroyed.
Yeah, when I seen that scene, I'm like, that's a lot of fucking C4 just to create that small explosion.
I'm pretty sure there was less C4 in the scene of Die Hard when he throws that chair down the elevator shaft. I'm pretty sure there's more C4 in the car than on that chair, and that chair makes a bigger explosion.
And Chris Penn lives.
Yeah.
He's got a couple scratches when I visit him in prison. I was like, fuck, that car had C4 in it. If I'm not mistaken, the Hurt Locker was based off of him diffusing some C4. There was a scene in that movie where he was afraid that he's going to get blown to smithereens. But yet Chris Penn, fucking indestructible.
Yep. He just wouldn't have existed anymore. He would have just been pink mist.
Yep.
So I thought this was cool, and it doesn't necessarily pertain to just Rush Hour, but all three movies. It's just like a kind of weird tradition. The main villain in every Rush Hour movie has died by falling a great distance. Every single Rush Hour movie, they fall from a really great height, and they're just pancaked on the floor.
Well, yeah, note to self, if you decide to audition for the villain in the hopefully to be made at some point Rush Hour 4, just don't be afraid of heights.
Right. So, yeah, the first one, he falls from the ceiling of the exhibition hall. Ricky Tin in the second one falls from the casino building onto the street, actually onto a car on the street. And then Kenji in the third one falls from the Eiffel Tower. So they're going to have to find something taller than the Eiffel Tower for the villain in the fourth movie to fall off of. I mean,
they're probably going to, since Tom Cruise is kind of like the American version of Jackie Chan, I bet they go back to, what's the name of that building in Dubai, the real tall building?
That's the tallest building in the world, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Lucas knows it just like that. He can rattle it off instantly. I forget, isn't it the Burj Khalifa?
Something like that. Yeah.
I know I probably fucked it up. Yeah. Somebody's in Rush Hour 4 is getting tossed off that.
Yep.
Or they're falling out of an airplane.
They're going to space. They're going to throw them out of a space station onto Earth.
Yeah. And they'll fall. They won't float. They're just going to fucking tumble down to Earth too.
Yep, they're just going to get pulled in. All right, and let's see here. So I'm going to group all these together just because I like to find I'm kind of picky when it comes to mistakes in movies, and I love to find them. Like, one of my favorite things about the original Star Wars is when that stormtrooper hits his head on the door.
Oh, yeah.
So I like to find goofs and stuff like that in the movies. And so I got a couple of goofs that I'm going to group together here. But when Tanya Johnson hangs up the phone with Carter, you hear a dial tone. and they use it to be like, dramatic for the cinema, just to accentuate the hanging up moment, but you don't hear a dial tone on a cell phone. That's just not a thing. And when Carter takes the joint from the guy in the pool hall, he's just like, what is this? This isn't a cigarette. This is like a weed. He takes it away, and it's super small, but then when he has it in the next scene, it's really, really long. Like, it changes sizes constantly. And then,
well, I think that dude just had a lot of them rolled up in his pocket. I mean, as being a former consumer of vitamins myself, whenever I indulged in one, I always had more than one.
Unless it's the incredible extending Cigaweed brand.
If that's the case, I'm hop back on the horse.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, $20, this thing keeps growing, sign me up.
Let's see here. Also, my last little bit of trivia, I guess, for this goof section, is that when Lee is trying to escape from Carter, and then he gets into the cab, it actually changes from a Crown Vic to a Caprice, and then back to a Crown Vic again in the next scene.
We ought to just make that a section that you can contribute to every episode. Just maybe we'll just replace one of the categories where you just find like hilarious goofs in the movie, because you seem to always be able to pinpoint them. I never really catch on to them.
They're really fun to watch. Jenna and I, my wife Jenna, we always like to go through movies that we really, really like we've seen them a million times, and we just look at the background stuff just because it's really cool to watch, and sometimes you find really funny goofs like that.
I see, like when I watch movies, I always end up paying attention to like take for example Shawshank Redemption. It's usually like I'll usually will just pay attention to the movie, and then I'll eventually go into like the nuances of like Morgan Freeman's performance, and then like Tim Robbins, and then like Bob Gunn, things like that. I never really bothered to look for the goofs. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it ruins the movie magic, but like if you've seen the movie enough and you like the movie anyways, it's still fun to pick out those little things. Like I said, I really, really like it when that stormtrooper hits his head on the door. I laugh every time now.
The only one that I recall seeing like the minute I first seen the movie was in Dick Tracy. It's a scene where Madonna and Warren Beatty are kissing, and you could see like Warren Beatty drooling as they're making out. I seen it in the movie theater, and I looked over to my brother. I was like, he's drooling.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I would imagine since then, like they've probably cleaned it up to where you don't see it. But yeah, I remember seeing that in the movie theater. I'm like, he's fucking drooling.
That's so funny. I'm gonna have to look for that now. I hope it's still in the movie. Oh man.
Yeah, that's the only one I can pinpoint. Like, I'd have to like look them up. I mean, of course, obviously, right. The stormtrooper hitting his head, that's like pretty much blatantly obvious now.
Yeah, of course. And sometimes you'll get things like, I think there's another goof in Star Wars where you can see the tow line like when they get thrown back by getting shot and stuff, you can see one of the tow lines that's pulling them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, those are always fun to see. That is all I had for my my research corner.
Well, good stuff, man. You may have just spawned a brand new category for this show.
We should do it. I would love to come up with stuff for that every single time.
Oh, okay. Well, then we may cut a category out. It seems like the Eric Stoltz Award seems to be one that doesn't really get a lot of love. So maybe cut it out and replace it with where you come up with like all kinds of goofs in the movie.
We'll have to come up with a clever name for it. I mean...
Well, let's be real here. None of these names are clever either. I mean, we just stole like movie lines, so... All right. Well, good stuff, dude. The I Drink Your Milkshake Award for the best scene in the movie.
I drink your milkshake. I drink it up!
Yeah, what do you got?
So I have a couple of different scenes here. One of my favorite scenes in the movie, and I think this is going to be my honorable mention just because I like the other scene a little better, which mine are kind of weird. I know everybody likes the climax of the movie the best, but I liked when they were trying to one-up each other with how their dads were on the force. Like, oh, my dad did this. Oh, my dad, caught a bullet with his bare hands. And I think that was a really cool scene. It just it gave their characters a little depth and like why they do what they do now, and it was still funny. But like I said, that's going to be my honorable mention. My favorite scene, though, is a combination of scenes. It's the point when Carter picks up Lee from the airport. Do you hear the words coming out of my mouth? All the way to Lee revealing that he can speak English.
Mm-hmm.
Whole, like him trying to escape, climbing onto the sign, dropping off of the bus, and then just it ending with, you didn't ask me if I spoke English, so I didn't tell you.
Yeah, that's good stuff too. Well, what would be your is that going to be your nominee?
That's going to be my nominee, yeah.
All right. I have an honorable mention as well. I really like the fight scene in the restaurant.
Oh yeah,
that really shows off, like, that's like, if you've never seen a Jackie Chan movie before, just the scene where they're like fighting for the gun and with the rug.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, if you've never seen a Jackie Chan movie before, like, and you don't want to invest the time, because I know a lot of people just won't watch a movie because it's not like in English for some stupid reason, like they hate reading. But yeah, like if you've never seen a Jackie Chan movie before, just that sequence with the rug is like sums up Jackie Chan perfectly.
Yeah, I would agree.
But my favorite scene, and I really like it just because it's like when they finally start to bond, is when he's singing "War" by Edwin Starr, and then like he says it very wooden, and then like Chris Tucker's trying to get him to say it with a little bit more like, put a little bit of soul into it, like,
yeah.
I just like that scene because then that's like, it's kind of the turning point of the movie, and like they actually, like, they kind of have become a team after that.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I kind of dig the introduction to Jackie Chan. Like, well, not so much the introduction, but where he comes to L.A.
Yeah.
That's a really cool scene too. And plus, I've always wanted to ride on one of the double-decker buses. Yeah.
And just the whole exchange where Carter's showing off his badge, he's like FBI, and then Jackie Chan like grabs onto the sign, and then it takes him a second to figure out what happened. It's just that whole scene where Lee's just trying to escape. It shows off Jackie Chan's like physical comedy, but it also shows off Chris Tucker's just vocal comedy too, and his physical comedy, his version of it anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay giving it with to that. That whole sequence is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I love it. It's so good. All right.
Yeah. There you go, Adam. Back
here.
on the show, and it's like you didn't even skip a beat. You're coming up new categories. You're fucking winning winning awards for the scenes. It's like you never left. Well, I think you edit the show every week too. That probably helps.
Right. I'm here every week, just behind the scenes.
Right. I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough for the worst or most unnecessary scene of the movie.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
I really couldn't think of anything of note.
I couldn't either. I do have a bone to pick, though, with one of the scenes in the movie. So when they're kidnapping Sue Young, and the car gets pulled off the side of the road, and the driver asks, "Oh, what's the problem, officer?" And he says, "Nothing, just rush hour," and then shoots both of them. I always thought that line was shoehorned into the movie just so that they could get the term rush hour into the movie.
Hey, I'm a fan of when they do that, though. Like when they say the name of the movie.
Oh, so am I. No, that's perfectly fine. It's just, it doesn't make any sense why he would say that. Like, okay, is that a reason for you to pull him over? No, you don't say to somebody, "Yeah, it's rush hour, so I'm pulling you over." Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. They just did it to get the name of the movie in the line, I think, and I always had that kind of, every time I watch this movie, it's just like, why?
I have no issue with it just because they shoehorned it in. I wish every movie would put it in there. Like I think I've been kind of ruined by the MTV Movie Awards skit where Ben Stiller is parodying Tom Cruise from Mission Impossible 2, and he says this mission just got a hell of a lot more impossible. Like that's an obvious, blatant excuse to shoehorn the name of the movie into the dialogue. So like now I've come to expect it. Like even watching something like Shape of Water, like can you say Shape of Water at least once? It probably would have made it a better movie.
So I think there is a gag in Family Guy where they do that, like Peter's at the movies with his friends and stuff, and they say the name of the movie in the movie, and Peter goes, ah. So every time Jenna and I go to the movies now, and they say the name of the movie, we both look at each other and go, ah.
And that just reminds me, Shape of Water does not deserve to be the best picture, especially with Get Out and Dunkirk. But I'm not going to get on that soapbox tonight. This is all about Rush Hour.
Right. Good movies.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, I can't. I'm not going to argue with it, but like I'm cool with it.
Yeah,
they could have thrown it in something else, like hey, like oh man, we're stuck in rush hour traffic.
Yeah.
Anything, but I'm always good with them shoehorning the name of the movie into the dialogue.
Right. It is what it is. I wouldn't cut it out per se. It's not like, I don't like Sandworthy, but it's just a bone I had to pick with the movie.
Yeah, it doesn't teeter like, well, if they'd cut that line out, I'd like it, but they left it in there. This movie's fucking awful.
Right.
The Dylan, You Son of a Bitch award for the best line of the movie.
Dylan! You son of a bitch.
I will let you go first simply because when I was doing my notes, I got sidetracked and forgot to come up with a best quote. Although I have a line of dialogue that always cracks me up every time I see this movie. So I will let you put your nominee out on the floor and I will come back with mine.
I have a couple of different ones. I got a couple of honorable mentions. I'm going to lead off with my nominee, though. And everybody knows what it is. It's, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Yeah, I think that would probably be mine, too, just because it's probably the most iconic line of the movie.
Right. They even call back to it in the second one, and Jackie Chan says it. It's so funny.
Well, and we found out earlier, too, it was inspired by their first meeting.
Right. Yeah, so perfect. It's a great line. I love it. It's funny every time I watch it, and even like the stuff that he's saying beforehand is like, "Do you speak any English?" It's just, and it leads up to, "Do you understand the words that are coming out of my?" And he's yelling at that point. It's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
I got a couple of different nominees though. Honorable mentions for this category. I really like it when Carter is in the office with his captain, and he's just like that whole back and forth, like 2 officers were shot, 1 lost a pinky, but nobody die. You destroyed half a city block. That block was already messed up.
Yeah.
He lost a lot of evidence. Well, we still got a little bit left. So funny every time. And then when he's talking out in the precinct, and he's like, "This is the LAPD. We the most hated cops in all the free world. My own mom is ashamed of me. She tells everybody I'm a drug dealer."
I do like that line too, and I completely forgot about it.
Now, Jenna actually told me that she wanted me to I forget at what point of the movie it's in, but Carter says, because I wasn't watching the screen at the time, I was actually distracted, but Jenna laughed at it and she's like, "That should be your best line." Carter at one point says, "Get your titties out of the way," or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
That's the thing with like Chris Tucker's humor. Sometimes he says something so fast that you don't catch it right away.
Yeah.
I know for me, it would be do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Another one that I really get a kick out of, I have a couple as well. I do like the exchange when Jackie Chan turns on the radio and it's the Beach Boys playing, and he says, basically tells him, like, don't ever touch that black man's radio. He says that basically, I paraphrasing, but he says, that shit may be okay in China, but that'll get your ass killed out here.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that one, and I also like the line when they're making the demands how they want their money.
Oh, yeah.
And
You want any five?
Yeah, he says, you want any fives with that? I don't know why. Like, it's such a stupid line, but I chuckle every time. But I think we kind of already agreed it's going to be do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? I mean, it's played in the fucking trailer.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, we said it was inspired by their first meeting. I think you have to give it to that one.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, well, you're 2 for 2. The McLovin Award for the Best Supporting Performance.
I am McLovin.
And I'm getting mine out here right now. I'm fucking nominating Rex Lynn. Agent Whitney.
Right.
Yeah. Rex Lynn, for those of you that don't know, is probably remembered best as, shit, I forget his fucking name now. He's in Cliffhanger. He's the crooked FBI agent.
Yeah.
But that dude has 2 speeds. It's 25 miles an hour and it's 100 miles an hour. But when he goes 100, I'm fucking all for it.
Yeah.
When he starts swearing, I'm like, yes, Rex Lynn's in the zone. And I think I've already decided when we do Cliffhanger, which we will.
Yeah.
Very underrated, underappreciated Sylvester Stallone movie. I'm going to nominate Rex Lynn again, and he's going to win.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I mean, he can win. He can win twice.
Oh, he can be a 2-time winner. But yeah, I'm just throwing it out there now. Like, if I don't nominate him, call me out on that because, like, yeah, he should win in Cliffhanger too.
Okay.
Also got a honorable mention to Philip Baker Hall, who's Chris Tucker's captain.
Yeah.
You never see him in a role where he's kind of like having fun and goofing around, where he's always dead serious.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of nice to see him in something a little more lighthearted.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rex Lynn's got to win it for me.
Okay. I have a odd nominee for this one. It's like somebody that you wouldn't think. And the only reason why I nominated this person was because I thought that it lent, for the scenes that they're in, it lent a really good comedy to it. I actually nominated, I don't even know how to pronounce her name, Julia Sue, I guess, as Sue Young.
Okay.
The only reason I nominated her was because the scenes that she's in, she does really, really well in for being so young. And like when she's dancing in the car, that's hilarious. And the 2 drivers are just annoyed at her singing. It's so funny. I don't know why I laugh at that. It's just like, yeah, I would be those. Maybe it's because I have 2 girls of my own. It's just, yeah, I would be that way too if she were singing like that. And then, like, you know, she does all the things that she's supposed to. She kicks and screams when she gets taken and everything. But the scene at the end when Carter is telling him to push the button and blow her up, and then she's just mimicking him.
Yeah.
Like, push the goddamn button. She's like, yeah, push the goddamn button. Like, it's so funny.
Well,
like,
it's one of those things where, like, when little kids swear, like, I know both of mine have an issue with that. And I have a 10-year-old and a 3-year-old. So, yeah, raising them right, gang. But it's one of those things where, like, damn, I need to discipline them or, you know, tell them, like, hey, you shouldn't be saying that. But at the same time, it's like, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, that's why I nominated her. I think she did really well in this movie.
Yeah, she was really good in this too. I mean, for, like, you know, essentially the bit player. And kids' roles are kind of tough too. It's either like they're really good or they're just okay. It's a cute kid, and yeah, it's thoroughly yeah. I don't know. Man, I'm going with Rex Lynn, dude. Like, that fucking guy.
Okay.
I know. Like, whenever you see Rex Lynn, it's like, yep, that guy's gonna swear, and he's gonna swear like he's gonna be angry about it when he doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
He just has a particular delivery when he swears, and it's just like, yeah, I'm all for it.
I'm gonna agree with you on that. So I'm gonna give it to yours just because, you know, I think that he deserves to win twice too. So
yeah, and I mean, I don't have a compelling argument for him. Like, I really don't.
your argument, your entire reasoning for it is your argument. It's very compelling. He's either 25 miles an hour or 100 miles an hour. Completely agree.
All right. Well, Rex Lynn, you are the winner of the McLovin. I haven't seen that guy in anything in a while. So Hollywood casting directors, show Rex Lynn a little love. Get him on like one of them NBC, like the 9,000 Chicago shows they have.
Yeah, Hollywood directors. Do you hear the words that are coming out of our mouth?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because NBC's got what, like Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, I think Chicago Pizzeria, Chicago YMCA.
Chicago Post Office.
Yeah. Chicago Clothing Boutique. So, all right. So Rex Lynn's the winner.
Rex Lynn's the winner.
All right. Way to go, Rex Lynn. The Eric Stoltz Award for the performer that you would recast. I do have a nominee for this one, and it's nothing against his performance. He's fine, but I'm going to nominate Mark Rolston as Agent Russ. Awesome name, by the way. Simply because, like, that actor, I cannot watch him in anything without thinking of him and what him and the sisters did to Andy Dufresne at Shawshank.
Oh God, yeah.
It's like that's fucking Boggs, and like, I don't know. I don't really buy him as an FBI agent because he sexually assaulted Andy Dufresne at Shawshank. Yes, and Hadley gave it like. Fucking showed him like, hey man, you don't fuck around dudes that can launder money. This is what happens. You're going to be eaten out of a straw.
If only we had Clancy Brown in this movie.
Clancy Brown should be in everything.
He should.
But yeah, that's my nominee. Nothing against Mark Rolston's performance. He's perfectly fine. He's not, he's nothing special, but yeah, he doesn't bring the movie down. Just, yeah, he's fucking Boggs, and he'll be one of those guys that, like, no matter what I see him in, he could be doing a performance of Macbeth. And like, if I happen to get free tickets, like, oh hey, there's this Hollywood actor doing Macbeth at the local theater house. Like, okay, cool, I'll go check it out for free. And the minute I see Mark Rolston, like, that's fucking Boggs as Macbeth.
Can't watch this because Macbeth just sexually assaulted Andy Dufresne.
Yep, him and his sisters. Like, I'm just waiting for the rest of them to show up. They made Andy's life a living hell, for crying out loud.
Who would you replace with?
Anybody not named Mark Ralston?
Hey,
Clancy Clancy Brown.
Yeah, Clancy Brown. He's now Agent Russ.
Urbana's own Clancy Brown.
Right. Yes.
Which, did I tell you that when we did our Shawshank episode, I was trying to find a way to contact him to see if he'd come on the show.
Yes. I remember we were talking about
and
that.
I couldn't get his information. Probably for him a good thing. He's like, I'm not going on that third-rate fucking podcast.
We could. Urbana's not that far from where we are at. We could probably just drive up there and find a phone book and find where he lives.
Just look up Brown, Clancy. There he is. 1234 Main Street. Got it. Plug it in the GPS. Let's roll.
Why are you at my house?
Who are you guys?
We're the couch potatoes.
The who? No, thank you. All right. Do you have anybody you'd recast in this?
No, I didn't have anybody I'd recast. I was thinking about it. It's hard to recast this movie just because the main characters are the driving force of the movie, and then just everybody else is filler, I think. I mean, some of them are really good. Don't get me wrong. It's just, yeah, it doesn't matter because we got the two best actors already for the role. So, yeah.
Usually, when it comes to the actors you'd recast, it's mostly minor characters I'm thinking of. Usually, they nail the leads pretty good in most of the movies we do. So,
yeah.
The unsolved mysteries of the movie.
Join me. Perhaps you may be able to help solve a mystery.
The only one that I had, they pretty much answer it. I would wonder what adventures Lee and Carter get into when Carter flies back home with Lee, but we find out in Rush Hour 2 what happens. So,
So I do have something to piggyback off that. That's actually my unsolved mystery. So we find out what happens in Rush Hour 2, that, and then like years later, Carter's a traffic cop, and we find out what happens to them in Rush Hour 3. My question is, how did they keep their jobs? Because Carter was about to be suspended before he got his assignment to Lee in this movie, and then they're just like screwing around most of. Well, I mean, they're solving the mystery, I guess, but they're getting into all sorts of hijinks, climbing on signs and jumping off of buses, and then they do the same kind of stuff in Rush Hour 2, but Carter's on like a 6-week vacation.
That's a lot of PTO. It's like, do you ever take a break?
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure they're both detectives, are they not? Or is Carter a lower rank? Because I know Lee is a detective.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I know they probably have a caseload, right?
I would imagine so, yeah.
Are they working on cases? Or are they just,
Nope.
let's hang out together?
Once they solve that, it's like, well, it's like somebody else will do it. It'll be there when I get back.
It just confuses the heck out of me. I know it doesn't matter because, movie magic and, this the buddy cop movie, and they're doing their thing. But I always wondered, like, what about the other cases they have to solve?
Well, I think Jackie Chan's character is more like almost like kind of like a right-hand man for the diplomat. Name's drawn a blank on the character's name. So it kind of makes me wonder, like, he's more like when he needs him, he's there. So I don't think his caseload per se is like that of a normal detective. But yeah, Carter, on the other hand, like, he was fucking on an undercover mission at the beginning of the movie. And like, we just threw that to the side, like, oh, he's going on vacation now.
Yeah. And forget that he was about to be suspended. It's just like, yeah, sure, you can go on vacation, no problem.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you know what? We're going to pay you. Take a couple weeks off, man. Yeah, I could see that, though. It's just like, he was supposed to be undercover, now he's not.
Yeah.
Oh. All right, well, now that we've gotten that out of the way, the final award, the one that everyone's been waiting for, the I'm the King of the World award for who wins the movie. I think this is pretty obvious, though. I'm the King of the World! Yeah. Do you want me to say it, or do you want to?
I'm gonna say mine. Hopefully it's who you're thinking of. I think it's Jackie Chan.
Oh, see, I actually had Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, I could,
because I don't think the movie doesn't work without both of them. Like, you could have one, but like,
yeah,
I just think that their styles mesh perfectly together, and you can't have well, hell, we were talking about earlier, like all these other actors that were up for the role of Carter. I couldn't see any of those actors playing off of Jackie Chan as well as Chris Tucker did.
Right, I agree completely, and Jackie Chan being in this movie launched his career to new heights. Mm-hmm. So yeah, both of them I think really benefited from this movie.
Yeah, just their chemistry together is just totally like off the chain, like incredible, and like they've been able to take that same formula and they've crafted 3 movies out of it.
Yeah,
because I mean,
I like 3. It's okay. It's not my favorite, but if they made a 4th one or a 5th one, even like the Lethal Weapons, they're like, I would watch it.
Because you like revisiting, see what those characters are up to.
Right. Yeah. Those characters are what makes the movie watchable. It's not necessarily the story, which is there and it's cool and it's action packed, but the characters are what makes it, you want to come back and watch it again. Yeah.
Because I mean, it's fairly like, it's a pretty much a paint by numbers, like cop movie. It's like, there's a crime. And then, like, this instance, they take, 2 people that are obviously would not be friends if it wasn't for this circumstance. Yeah. And it just, without their chemistry, this is a paint by numbers cop movie.
Yeah.
So I would give it to both of them.
I agree with that as well.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan, you are the kings of the world for Rush Hour. Bravo. Job well done, guys.
Please make a fourth.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a fourth one. You know what? Honestly, the way that they make movies nowadays, it's like all about like franchises. I'm surprised they haven't. I know I had seen something where Jackie Chan didn't want to do one unless the script was right.
Yeah.
And then they had said that him and Chris Tucker found a script that they both liked. And they were going to do it. And they even teased, I seen like an Instagram post with both of them holding up like 4 fingers, like, hey, it's getting ready to happen. And it was apparently supposed to be 2019 when it came out, but then it just...
It might have had something to do with COVID too. Who knows? But
yeah, COVID, son of a bitch, ruins fucking everything. That could have been it.
Yeah.
You said Chris Tucker's got problems with the IRS. He may be holding out for more money.
Yeah, that's true too. But I mean, they make a fourth movie, I'm there for it. You think that, everything's franchised now. You know, you got your superhero movies, you got your movies that are based off of books, and then like, Harry Potter, Hunger Games, 50 Shades, you got those movies. I think that Rush Hour is one of those few movies, like the action movies in the 80s, you got Die Hard and Lethal Weapon and those kinds of movies. Rush Hour is one of those final few types of those movies where it's not necessarily a franchise based off of a superhero or a book, but it's like, it's one of those action franchises that keeps going.
Well, that could be another reason why, too, is the fact that just in the last 2 years, the film industry's changed. I mean, there hasn't, like, outside of Spider-Man, there hasn't been really like a huge box office hit, and I don't think studios are going to sink the kind of money that they would into something that may or may not work with audiences. Yeah. That would be something that may end up going to like HBO Max. Because I think I had seen that they are talking about doing a new Lethal Weapon, but it's going to be for HBO Max instead of a theatrical release.
Yeah, I heard that too. And, I would like to see, action franchises come back. I mean, I would like to see, 80s action movies come back, like that kind of style of movie. But, it is what it is.
Yeah, I would love to see the 80s action movies come back. That's the best era of action movies. But yeah, that'd be something you would see. Like, it would be parodied now.
Yeah.
And it would have, like, The Rock and Kevin Hart.
Yeah, see, the closest thing we get, I think, is Fast and Furious. And, like, those are kind of cheesy in the way that they do their action. It's not necessarily the same kind of cheese as the 80s action movies. It's good, but I think that's the closest we get.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's probably one of the reasons why I love those movies so much. And we need to do one at some point.
Yes.
I keep putting that off. Like, it just never seems to work, like doing a Fast and Furious movie. But yeah, that's got to happen at some point.
Right.
Wow. Well, before we wrap this up, you got anything you want to add?
No, other than, Rush Hour is one of my favorite buddy movies, one of my favorite action movies. I do have a lot of favorite action movies, so that, I mean, it's pretty far down on the list. But it's my favorite comedy action movie, I would say, and I really, really like it. And anytime it's on TV, I'll watch it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I haven't seen it on anything in a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I know for a while there had a nice run on TNT and TBS, but I haven't seen it on TV in quite a while.
And it's one of those little gems that sometimes you forget about, but then it's like, oh yeah, Rush Hour. Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, when I was getting with you to talk about like what to do as this week's episode, like when you mentioned Rush Hour, like okay, I can do that. It's been a while since I've visited those characters. It'd be a nice time to reminisce a bit. Yeah,
it's not something that's in the forefront when it comes to any kind of genre or movie. But then, like, when it's mentioned, you're like, oh, yeah, I really like those movies.
Oh, yeah. I don't really have anything to add outside of Adam. It was a goddamn pleasure having you back on the show to sit down and shoot shit for a bit. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it has.
And you'll be back next week, right?
I will be back next week.
We'll save that for the closing of the episode, but it's going to be a big one. Coincide with a movie getting ready to come out, so... one that you and I like and Lucas hates. So it ought to be a fun episode. Just us just giving Lucas shit for an hour.
I'm gonna give him a hard time for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Maybe I'll even. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I've got the time nor the money. Maybe I'll do the episode in the gear.
Oh, that would be excellent.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think I got that kind of scratch though. All right, well,
a video.
well, on that note, I'm going to wrap this up. But Adam, like I said, it was an absolute pleasure having you back on the show, and we'll talk at you next week, man.
All right, see ya.
Later, Gators. And that's going to do it for this week's episode. Thank you once again for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. If you like what we're doing here at the show, be sure to leave us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. We really, really do appreciate it. Coming up next Tuesday, this ought to be a good one, considering Lucas hates this movie. Just in time to celebrate the release of the brand new The Batman, which is getting ready to hit theaters, I believe, on March the 4th. We're going to do the 1989 Tim Burton Batman, which stars Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson, so that ought to be a good one. If anything, just to hear Lucas bitch for an hour about how much he doesn't like that Batman and why it's weird that we do. So it ought to be a good episode either way. So be sure to subscribe wherever you get podcasts. We're available everywhere. So until next Tuesday, cheers, everybody.